Do I believe in ghosts?
How about aliens? Hey everybody, this is my friend Stewart. Stewart is one of my dear friends. He owns a business here in the town that I live in, here in South Carolina. And thank you so much for being my first non-ministry. So I'm super excited to have you in the car with me. So I was talking with Sarah Ashley on the way over here on the phone. And I said, what do you think should be the very first question I asked Stewart? And she thought about it, and then she said, why coffee?
Oh, wow. So why coffee? So I didn't start drinking coffee until I was in my 30s. I was not a big coffee drinker. Didn't drink coffee really at all. And a friend of mine brought some fresh roasted coffee to an event we were having at the lake, kind of a guy's weekend at the lake. He was like, you have to try this coffee. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. This is delicious. What in the world is going on with this coffee? Because generally coffee was always just gross to me. Coffee is a lot about connection. It's a lot about connection. People do things over coffee. Anytime you get together, they're like, hey, you want some coffee? You know, or hey, let's meet up for a coffee. And so, you know, I found that you got to talk to a lot of people. We started just as a roastery.
And if you don't know also what we're sipping on right now, I'm sipping on some delicious NinjaWarrior coffee. I
got me a latte. What we've set out to do is to have a place where people can come in and they can be on a date. They can be, you know, with their spouse, with their kids, with their mom, with their whatever, and they can just kind of sit and chill. Their girlfriends, they can just hang out. We got people that come play games. It's great. It's a place of community, and I love that. That's what I love about it.
What do you really sell at your shop? Is it actually coffee? Like, give me the shtick.
Yeah. Okay, so to answer the first part about being present, so the coffee is definitely that. You know, when you see people who get in their car, they drive in, and they go through a drive-through, they grab their cup of coffee, and they drive off, and they're just drinking it. And, you know, it's probably not the greatest coffee, and maybe it's got a lot of milk to cover up, you know, however, you know, bitter it tastes, or they put a lot of sugar in it. And those type of things, it has the mentality of, this is not that great, but it has the caffeine, and I need to consume it quickly. Whereas, you know, a fresh roasted coffee has a lot of flavor in and of itself. And so it gives you that feeling of wanting to sip on it, of wanting to hold that warm ceramic mug, of sitting on a couch, of all those things. So even though you're consuming caffeine, which is a stimulant, it really does bring about that wanting to be present and wanting to slow down. You know, you ask, what do I sell if it's not coffee? And so you can buy coffee anywhere. You can buy cheap coffee, you can buy expensive coffee. So here's one of the things that happens is people come in and I will comment on something that's going on in their life. I keep track of our regulars on Instagram and that stuff. I watch their stories, I like their pictures, I make comments, because I truly want to be a part of their life. I want to know them. We want a place of community where someone can come and they can feel welcome regardless of what it is they're struggling with, regardless of anything else, and they can find, you know, that sanctuary and that solace there.
When it's all said and done, what do you want them to say?
What do I want them to say about me? That I was passionate about loving others.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's that's number one. That's what I want them to say.
Why?
Why do I want them to say that?
What is the why behind that desire?
Because as we move through life, we're in kind of a fallen world, and there's always this gravitational pull towards chaos, towards things going wrong. Every day you want to get outside and do something, it's going to rain. It's just always this, you know, you feel like you're struggling all the time. Right. And some people feel that way more than others.
Like, what would you say is like the number one, or maybe even two things that people need right now more than they've ever needed it?
And accountability and community. Because, you know, like you say, they're raging on that keyboard. There's an anonymity that comes with social media, Zoom meetings, whatever. You know, it's just that's what they need is other people, someone to be accountable to, someone that will tell them the truth, someone that makes them better and that they can make better.
That's good. Who when we're talking about accountability and others making us better, who are the people that make you best, and what are the things that help propel you to the best version of Stu Armstrong?
Wow. The person who made an indelible mark that has passed away was my grandfather. He was not an educated man, but he taught me how to wire things, how how to fix HVAC systems, how to do. I mean, he just was a very hands-on, knowledgeable kind of guy, and so he really spurned a lot of that do-it-yourself type mentality. I have a friend who lives in Australia. His name is Robert, and Robert, I don't get to talk to him nearly as often as I used to. He is, one of my best friends, and he makes me better. He has very intellectual. We have very intellectual talks, but I'm not a big phone conversation guy. I like one-on-one conversations.
Yeah, totally.
My friend James, who is probably the most influential person I have right now.
That's good.
He has. He's been a really good friend to me, and it's been great.
It's good. Space, because
Do I believe in ghosts? Is that the question?
Do you believe in ghosts? Are they?
I do not. I do not believe in ghosts.
Ghosts are not a thing.
Not a thing. I think.
How about aliens?
That's a tough one, because then what that spurns to me is immediately when someone says, "Do you believe in aliens?" That immediately says to me, would God have created another planet of beings?
Totally.
Would they have a Christ figure? Mm-hmm. What would happen? And so whether I believe it or not, I am fascinated by the prospect that
absolutely.
Would be what would happen.
Absolutely.
So I really don't know whether I would say I believe it or not.
Politics.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think they're all wrong. So I had I have a friend on Facebook. It's someone I know through the coffee shop that posted. This post said, "If you support Trump, go ahead and unfriend me now."
I've seen that too.
And I was like, for real? Because I hold or don't hold a certain political belief, you're not going to be friends. And the one that got me the most was somebody posted and said, I hate that you feel that way. I support Trump, but, I think that we can still be friends because of whatever. And her response was, "Fine, I'll do it," and unfriended her. And I'm like,
wow, yeah, she took that out of your hands.
She was really reaching out and saying, I'm more about you as a person and not you as what you believe in politically.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, that's not me," and unfriended her. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So do you think Christians should stay away from politics or engage them?
No, I don't think they should stay away from politics. I think that is the opposite of what they should do. Because what we want are people in politics who have good moral, ethical boundaries, right? Now, what I don't think they should do is they shouldn't go in and then force their own personal beliefs. I also believe America is a melting pot of people, of races, of religions. I'm not a very political person. Most of the time, people come in and they're mad at Trump over something, and I'm like, I don't even know. I honestly, I have no idea what he said.
Yeah.
They went on for a long time about him saying that you should inject yourself with cleaning fluids, and I was like,
duh.
What? Did he say that? I wasn't listening.
How much or little do you keep up with any news, national, local?
Very little. I generally rely on my Google News feed, which is kind of tailored to what I am interested in.
What do people need to start doing to fix this problem and healing the divide?
What the world needs now. Is that that song? What the world needs is more of what I mentioned in that post. What that lady said is that you can think one thing, I can think something different, and we can be okay. I've changed my mind on a lot of things.
Same here, man.
Over my life.
Absolutely.
All the time. People break it down to a hardcore right or wrong, and they don't want to be wrong. I am willing to be wrong anytime. I expect every day to be wrong about something because I'm not perfect. And so if I'm expecting that my viewpoint is not always the right one, then I'm willing to change. So, quick story. Let me tell you this. I was working. We had a trainer that had just come to work, and these trainers, there's a whole group of them. They were having to stay in South Carolina, even though they didn't live here, for an extended period of time to get, like, it was like hardcore boot camp training, right? And so I'd done some of the training, and I had talked to this one guy several times. I knew that he was into, you know, fitness and running and stuff. And so I told him, I said, hey, you know, we're doing a 5K, you know, this coming weekend or whatever. Do you want to do that? And he's like, well, that'd be cool or whatever. Yeah. Oh, so you have dogs at the house? Okay. Well, what are you doing with the dogs now while you're gone or whatever? And he said, well, Bryce is taking care of them. I'm like, oh, cool. So you got like a friend taking care of them, you know, stuff like that. And he said, well, you know, and I kept driving towards it. Finally, he had to answer, well, he's my partner. And I said, cool. How long you guys been together? And he just stood there for a second and answered. And so I was like, okay, great. So we're still going running. And, you know, it confirmed whatever the plans for the weekend. And so later, I thought nothing really much of it. We ran, we did the race. It was fun. We had a great time. And he said about me, he said, around you, I have never felt like I was anything other than a person. I never felt judged. Wow. I never felt wrong. I never felt, you know, I just felt, he said, like, you just always treated me like anyone else. And that's what people are missing. People just, you know, allowing other people, because again, like this lady posted on Facebook, just unfriend me. You can do that on Facebook, but stand right here in front of me and say, you're not my friend anymore. That's tough to do.
Yeah, no doubt. What does the ideal customer look and sound and feel like? And inverted, what's like the worst customer out there?
So the worst customer is the one that is rude to me or someone on our staff, you know, that's working there. People who come in that the people that come in that aren't aware of other people or things like that, those are the ones that are more difficult. The best customer is the person who buys one of everything
or 5 of everything.
That's right. They buy for their friends. The best customer is the person who just enjoys being there and comes back. My thing is that we provide a service and we love people.
What is the best coffee drink you make?
Ooh, the best coffee drink we make? A caramel latte.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you drink coffee as much as people assume you do?
I drink coffee every day.
So probably.
I might.
What's one thing that about your job is way more difficult than others would assume?
With any small business, the thing that's more difficult that nobody really understands until you actually do it is that all the jobs that support that business. So marketing. The second hardest thing is finances.
Yeah.
So you have to say, okay, well, how much does this cost me? And then how much am I paying this person? And how much is rent and equipment and everything else? And then at the end of the day, how much do I get to keep? And then what's the price? You know, $10 a cup of coffee, you know, that would be great because then everybody's making money and whatever else, but nobody's going to buy that. So you have to find that spot where, you know, you can, where you are charging a fair price, but yet you're not losing your shirt.
What is such a delight to you that no one else probably even knows?
Making the latte art.
Making the latte art.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So like,
where do you stand with sports? We live in the backyard of, you know, Clemson fans.
Yeah.
Do you care at all about sports? What are your thoughts about?
I for the most part, I don't. So I have one of my favorite shirts. It has a little guy, and it says "Sports Ball" at the top, and it says "Move the thing to the other thing." What I want to see is that point by point where they're just a struggle the whole time, neck and neck, and you're having to figure out, man, these guys, they know what's up over here. We got to go this way, and you're constantly, you know, just it's that battle, and that is a good game. And so I like that. That's what I like. There's actually a coffee shop that is doing drone deliveries.
what?
Yeah.
Dude, that was what I was talking about earlier when it was like, what's the next evolution of coffee? Drone delivery.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude.
In their little, and I can't remember what town they're in. It was an article I was reading. I get, email. I try to keep track of stuff. But yeah, they're doing, it's drone, like, and it's in with a certain area of the shop, and like it's unmanned. Like you put in the GPS and the drone takes off with your coffee and brings it to the house or whatever.
Final thing for anyone watching this,
just understand that everybody's got their own journey. Be where you need to be for them.
So good.
Just connect with people.
Yeah. Yeah. Why a Ninja and why not like a cup of coffee?
So when I started in doing technical work, I fixed a guy's thing. He called me, had a problem. I went to his office, he wasn't there. I fixed it. I went back to my office and he called me later. He said, "Hey, did you fix my computer?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Man, you're like a technical ninja." So then when we started the company, we wanted to have a ninja in there.
Brilliant.
And people love the logo.
Stu, love you, man.
All right, man.